here, I like to ask about misconceptions because I always like to learn and kind of from more of an expert, like what things did they hear or do they read that they want to, like myths that you want to dispel or things that you just hear people keep saying and like that's not how it actually is or something. What do you think is like one of the biggest misconceptions about sexuality or sex education or that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, the one that I hear the most often probably is because a lot of my writing is focused on sex toys, and so I do like test and review a lot of toys. And so sometimes people will be like, basically, like, you're so lucky you just get to like masturbate for a living. And I'm like, that is seriously, I would say 2% or less of the time that I spend working. The rest of it is the same boring shit that like all kinds of freelancers have to do, like, admin and emails and invoicing, and as well as like the actual writing part, the editing, the photography, the web design, web maintenance, all of this stuff. It is just such a small part of what I do. And I always just think that that's very silly. Another thing, and I've heard from many of my colleagues in this industry that they also experience this, is like a lot of people expect that if you work in this industry that you must be like really wild sexually and like having a lot of sex all the time, and it's like super kinky and like group sex and like all this stuff. And like I've definitely had periods in my life when I was doing that, not gonna lie, but like that's just not who I am. Like I think doing this work has really showed me that there's so much variance in human sexuality that it actually like gave me permission to not feel like I had to constantly have this like hop in sex life so that I could write about it. Like I really kind of came to the realization that like the best and most radical sex life you can have is like exactly the one that you want to have. So, I do dabble in kinks a fair bit, and I do wild stuff from time to time, but like I don't know, I'm just not the manic sexy dream girl that I think a lot of people like assume that I'm gonna be before they meet me.
No, that's that. I have talked to a few other, at least a couple of other sex workers or sex worker adjacent people on the show, and I've heard similar things. That it's a lot of that's very common that people just think that you're like hypersexual all the time, and